Hello, this is Lance Johnson, driving Las Vegas more, baby. I wanted to talk about the Boogaloo Trio. I've been seeing this in the paper, but I haven't talked about it, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. The title says Boogaloo Trio Guided by IRA Manual. Okay, when Assistant USA Attorney Nicholas Dixon sought to persuade a federal judge to put three suspect members of the Spring Boogaloo movement behind bars, he provided plenty of ammunition. The key part of the veteran prosecutor argument last week, how the men had plotted to strip a violent protest and destroy federal buildings as if they were conducting military operations. They talked in Cold War tactic military gear, carried weapons, possessed explosive materials, and conducted reconnaissance missions. Dickinson alleged the defendants, who have military backgrounds, wanted to loosely follow the principles of the notorious Irish Republican Army, a paramilitary organization dedicated to liberating Ireland from British rule. He said those principles are contained in the IRA Green Book, a training manual written in the 1950s that talked about waging a war, military war against the British government. They used the explosives was a big part of IRA's tactics, which included military troops, police officers among their targets. The right-wing Boogaloo movement, which is decentralized with no national leaders, believes an infamous civil war and ultimate societal collapse in the United States. Trio has plans. Dickinson argued in court that one of the alleged Las Vegas Boogaloo, Stephen Parshall, a 35-year-old Navy veteran, had been regularized and clearly was mobilized to act. Another defendant, William Loomis, 40, a postal worker and 13-year Navy veteran, was angry and ready to act, Dickinson said. Loomis, a former military member, believed civil war was coming soon, and he likened the growing arrest in the United States to the fall of the Roman Empire, according to Dickinson. The youngest defendant, Andrew Lynam, told investigators after his arrest he organized a group which began on Facebook and recruited members of Las Vegas reopening protests. Lynam stated that their attempt was to cause change to the government using various means and criminal activity to police arrest reports. Lyman admitted to a group engaged in psycho training, vandal members, training and tactics to counter law enforcement and counter surveillance of law enforcement efforts at the protests and rallies. The artist reservists and apologized to investigators. He said he realized his actions were inappropriate and evoking any potential violence against citizens and law enforcement. Loomis also acknowledged that his participation in the Boogaloo group. Loomis said he was searching for an outlet to express his rage, anger, and frustration with current climate in the United States, the arrest report said. The RA discussed the FBI launched the investigation in April after an informant brought the Bureau's information about the group plan according to the court documents. The Las Vegas members discussed the affiliation with the RA with the information about plans to disrupt the reopened demonstration in May. Give me 1 second. I have people in my house and they're cursing, so let me walk over and close my door. Okay. Now back to the story. Trying to figure what the hell, man. Excuse me. I think I'm here. I already discussed the FBI launched the investigation in April after the informant brought the Bureau information about the group's plans according to the court documents. The Las Vegas members discussed the affinity for the RA with the informant plan to disrupt area open demonstration in May. They indicate they wanted the government to show its hand to arrest Parshall. The orders, so they wanted to create a chaotic and confusing scene for the upcoming protest. This would include any type of fire, smoke bombs, and of noisemakers. Eventually, an undercover FBI agent was introduced to the group. The agent appeared at the reopened protest and made exchange information with the informant and Parshall. Group members planned to set up devices at the beginning of the protest, cause panic, and eventually a confrontation between the police and protesters, according to the report. But they ended up abandoning the plan in favor of efforts to firebomb an energy substation and federal range station at Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Those plans were also put on hold as Black Lives Matter protests began in Las Vegas after the May 25th death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The agent was next placed with members of the group May 30th, and they after 3 men were arrested before the downtown Black Lives Matter protest. Court documents showed the FBI learned that the trio was preparing to toss out Molotov cocktails at police. Dixon said in court last week that the government had secret recordings of these defendants. Our 3 men are facing federal explosive and firearms charges as well as local terroristic charges. So stupid. Why would they do something stupid? Evidence found. Investigation found rags, a gasoline canister, cans of hairspray, fireworks, and weapons at Parshall truck as he was arrested, according to police report. During a search of Loomis' home, investigation sees a handwritten note of military tactics and possession of scouting routes and locations showing with killer bosses, survivor attackers, fireworks, a bomb, and a booty trap. The report states the search warrants mention an array of items, including computers, weapons, explosives, and a copy of the actual IRA Green Book. The investigation also was looking for Hawaiian shirts and patches belonging to the men. The defense lawyers disputed government claims in court last week, but the U.S. Magistrate Judge Nancy Kopp conducted that Parshall and Loomis were a danger to the community. She ordered both into federal custody. Dixon is also seeking federal detention for Lynam, but his hearing was put off hold until June 16th, so Lyman's lawyers could have more time to prepare. This is crazy. I should have did this story already, but this is Steve Parshall, and this is Steve Parshall with the beard to the far right. It may be far left on the camera. Then the other direction, the young guy is Andrew Lynam, and William Loomis in the middle. But this is crazy. There's already enough problems in the world already. These people want to sit there and blow up stuff and try to blame it on protesters. This is stupid. They deserve to get what they deserve. But let me end the video. Be clean, sanitary. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Stay at home if you're sick. Go to the hospital if you have to go. Don't be a hoarder. Social distance. And like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Hit the bell notifications. Let's just drive Las Vegas and more. Oh, excuse me. Thanks so much and have a good day. Bye.